Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine Sarah, she's a broadcast director, right? Moments before a live news show goes on air, she's got maybe 12 video feeds coming in, 6 graphics layers, sound channels. It's a lot. All demanding her attention right now. One wrong switch, maybe one shot slightly out of focus, or the color's a tiny bit off. Boom. The whole broadcast could be compromised. How does she possibly keep all that visual chaos in check, make sure it all runs smoothly? That's exactly the kind of, well, high-stakes situation we're diving into today. Our source material gives us a really good look at a pretty critical piece of professional gear, the WolfPack Dual 7 color HDMI Rack Mount Displays with audio. So our mission here is to strip away the tech jargon, and really understand how this dual screen device acts like a crucial eye in these complex video systems, how it makes the, well, seemingly impossible manageable. It's all about getting actionable information, like at a glance, turning that flood of pictures into clear, immediate insight.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is how a display unit that looks, fairly straightforward on the surface actually tackles a huge core challenge. Environments just saturated with visual information. It's not just about showing an image. It's really about providing actionable intelligence, like you said, instantly. So this deep dive, it'll show us not just what this device is, but why it's basically indispensable for keeping things running smoothly, keeping the quality high in these really demanding professional settings. It really is a kind of window into an unseen complexity of modern media, live events, even things like critical surveillance.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. What is this WolfPack unit exactly? We're talking about the WolfPack Dual 7-color HDMI Rack Mount Displays, part number HDTV 71H. Visually, just picture two sharp 7-inch color screens sitting right next to each other, and they're designed specifically to fit neatly into a standard equipment rack. You know those tall metal frames you see in control rooms or server closets? This takes up a slim 3RU space that's 3 standard vertical slots, so it's not like a monitor you just put on your desk. It's integrated, built right into the architecture of a pro control room, a compact but pretty powerful visual hub for watching 2 different video feeds at the same time.
Right, that integration is absolutely key. And our sources point out it's a terrific addition to our modular matrix switchers.
Right.
Now, that tells us its main job right away, giving real-time visual feedback for those bigger, more complicated video distribution systems. Think about it. If you're managing this huge video matrix, maybe handling dozens, even hundreds of inputs and outputs, this device lets the operator, see select screens of what is happening in your large matrix system. It's all about that situational awareness. Lets you pick out the most important feeds to watch closely without needing like a whole wall of massive screens.
And it comes from a company with, well, quite a history, HDTV Supply. The sources mention they're a 24-year global home for audio and video products, certified way back in 2003. What does that kind of background, that history, tell you about the thinking behind a product like this?
Oh, that deep history, it's incredibly telling. It really suggests a company that's, grown with the industry. They understand the pain points, the critical needs of professionals, because they've been there. They've been doing this long enough to not just follow trends, but to actually innovate based on real-world problems. So this commitment to making things robust, reliable, informed by, decades of experience, that likely explains the really thoughtful design we're about to get into. It emphasizes both function and serious durability.
Right, and that robust design isn't just the metal case, is it? It goes right to how this thing plugs into your existing setup. So let's talk connections, because a monitor, well, it's only as good as what you can feed into it, right? So for each of those 2 separate 7-inch LCDs, you get quite a few options. You're looking at HDMI X1 and VGA X1 for video inputs, which is smart, actually, because it covers both modern and maybe some older legacy gear you might still have, plus 2 audio LR inputs for each screen. Then for outputs, each LCD gives you HDMI X1, VGA X1, and a stereo headphone jack for listening in directly. That's quite a bit of flexibility packed in there.
That multiple input-output design is absolutely crucial. Versatility is the name of the game here. It means these displays can slot into, well, pretty much any professional environment, connect to almost any source gear you throw at them. And critically, like you said, it needs 2 separate HDMI outputs from your main video switcher to feed both 7-inch displays. So you get truly independent monitoring. You're not just, splitting one signal. You're getting 2 distinct real-time views. And that dedicated audio I/O, vital. An operator needs to hear what's going on just as much as see it. Think about checking audio sync or quality, especially in a live broadcast.
Yeah, good point. And speaking of quality, the picture itself, the visual fidelity, it's designed for precision. which is, well, paramount when you're making split-second calls based on what you see. These aren't just run-of-the-mill screens. They use an IPS panel. That gives you a really wide 178 by 178 viewing angle. Now, that's not just about comfort, is it? It's about getting rid of those critical blind spots. Imagine being in a control room, you glance from an angle, a slight color shift or contrast change because you're off axis. That could lead to a huge mistake in a live show or a security lapse. It's also got a bright 400 nit output so you can see it clearly even in bright rooms, and it delivers 1980 by 1080p resolution, full HD, for clear, sharp details.
Exactly. That combination, IPS, high brightness, full HD, it directly hits that professional need for accuracy, consistency. In a broadcast studio, for instance, you just can't have image distortion or color shifts because of viewing angle.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to trust what you're seeing. And that 1980 by 1080 resolution, it makes sure even tiny details like text on a graphic maybe or some subtle visual cue are perfectly clear, essential for checking focus or precise framing. So this level of clarity, it fundamentally helps the operator make those quick, informed decisions.
Okay, so what does this actually mean for the people using it day in, day out? Our sources point out this unit's been widely used in all levels of TV news production, post-production, program broadcasting, and TV broadcasting trucks, special vehicles, video surveillance, and other fields. I mean, that's a serious list, really demanding applications, from live TV to critical security stuff. It's pretty clear this isn't for watching movies at home, right?
Oh, not at all. Not even close. If we think about that bigger picture, those applications demand just extreme, unwavering reliability. The source material explicitly says high reliability and electromagnetic compatibility are especially important conditions to make sure the entire system works smoothly. Now, that last bit, electromagnetic compatibility, EMC, that's crucial. It means the unit won't mess with other sensitive electronics nearby. You don't want signal noise or weird shutdowns in a packed control room because your monitor is throwing off interference. That's a huge concern in pro setups.
Right. Imagine a live feed failing because of that.
Exactly. Or a security feed. So the full metal case, that helps a lot. Robustness, durability, and it's good for dissipating heat. Helps it keep running continuously, even in tough spots. It has a really impressive working temperature range, too. -20 Celsius up to 55 Celsius. I actually worked a job once where a cheaper monitor literally froze up on location. Total nightmare. So this kind of resilience, it isn't just a spec on paper. It's operational peace of mind.
That focus on being tough and reliable, it's not just physical, is it? It seems like it translates into how you actually use the thing, too. What sounds really clever is the consistent design style they mention across WolfPack gear. The same function and operation mode setting is one of the features of the products. So if you learn how to use one WolfPack product, you can basically operate the whole range. That sounds like it would make things easy to operate and save a lot of time.
Exactly. In a fast-paced environment, the absolute last thing you need is to learn a completely new interface for every single piece of equipment. This consistency, it drastically cuts down on training time and, maybe more importantly, the chance for mistakes when things get hectic. It lets the pros focus on the actual content, not, fighting with the controls.
And it's not just showing you a picture passively. It's actually built for active, centralized control, which is interesting. Our sources say it offers software control via an Ethernet connection using GPIO. Okay, expert time. For us listeners, what is GPIO, and how does that kind of software control make things better than just pushing buttons on the unit itself?
Yeah, that's a great question because it really is a game changer in these setups. GPIO stands for General Purpose Input Output. Think of it like a digital switchboard. It lets a central system send simple commands, basically on-off type signals, or get status updates back from the monitor. So this means you can control a whole network of these WolfPack Dual HDMI displays, all from one central point. You can pick which monitor or monitors you want to control, send commands, and the browser interface even shows you the real-time status of any connected monitor. This kind of central control, it isn't just about convenience. It basically turns individual monitors into like a unified system. One operator can instantly manage a whole array of visual information, shift focus immediately to what's most important, and you eliminate that delay of having to run around making manual adjustments. It cuts down errors and boosts efficiency on a scale you just couldn't manage by hand.
Wow, okay. So beyond just showing the picture and being controllable, it also has this whole suite of specialized monitoring features really aimed at video professionals. We're talking about things like peaking focus assist. That sounds like a lifesaver for camera ops. It puts a red highlight on the parts of the image that are perfectly sharp, right? Often in black and white to make it super clear. Then there's check field for color calibration, pixel to pixel for like perfect one-to-one scaling. But from your experience, which of these special tools really make the biggest difference when things are moving fast, like in a live event, and why?
Well, okay, beyond focus and color, which are obviously critical, for me, the safe markers are just absolutely essential. They let operators see instantly if their shot is framed correctly for different broadcast standards or aspect ratios, 80%, 85%, 90%, even that wider 2.35.1 cinematic view. This stops those really costly mistakes where maybe important text gets cut off on people's home TVs, or worse, the feed gets rejected by the broadcasters.
Ah, yeah, I can see that being crucial.
Definitely. And another one that seems simple but is incredibly useful is image freeze. Being able to just pause a live frame, look at it closely, that can be invaluable for troubleshooting some weird glitch or just confirming a shot composition without messing with the live feed.
Makes sense.
And then for quick visual cues, you've got the built-in LED tally indicators, red, green, yellow. Standard broadcast stuff shows you immediately what's live, what's preview, plus those front panel 3.5mm stereo headphone jacks for checking the audio on each screen independently. Look, these aren't just, fancy extras. They're essential tools. They turn what looks like a simple monitor into a real diagnostic and quality control powerhouse.
That really is a comprehensive set of tools, all designed to nail the details. And for power, it's flexible too. Another sign of pro gear, I guess. It can use the included 12-volt supply, or it takes a standard 4-pin XLR connector. That's often used for more robust, sometimes redundant power setups and racks, right? Accepting DC 9 to 24 volts. All of this packed into a unit that weighs just 1,890 grams. That's what, under 4.2 pounds, and priced at $450. Now, okay, for someone just browsing, $450 might seem steep for a 7-inch display, but considering everything we've just talked about, what would you say is the benefit people might overlook that really justifies that cost for a professional user?
That is an excellent point. And the most overlooked benefit, I think, isn't just one specific feature. It's the total package of reliability and that comprehensive toolkit it gives you. Or maybe think about the cost of not having it. A single mistake in a live broadcast because your monitor wasn't up to scratch. Maybe a missed cue, an out-of-focus key shot, a graphic getting cut off. That kind of error can cost a production way, way more in lost audience, damaged reputation, maybe even direct financial penalties than the price of this unit. So it's kind of like an insurance policy, a silent guardian, really, that lets professionals maintain the absolute highest quality and stops those costly slip-ups. And that ultimately delivers a seamless professional experience to whoever's watching.
Right. So ultimately, what this WolfPack unit really offers is a clear, dependable, and intelligent window into these really complex video operations. It doesn't just show you what's going on, it gives you the tools and the clarity to actually understand it, to manage it effectively. It takes the guesswork out of juggling all those different feeds, lets professionals focus on, making great content or keeping a close watch with surveillance instead of constantly fighting with the gear or wondering if a signal is actually live and looks right. It's really about empowering the human in the loop, isn't it? Turning potential chaos into controlled, precise operations.
Absolutely. This device is a great example of how really specialized technology can simplify complexity. It lets an operator go from just passively watching to actively intelligently managing. And in a world that's just drowning in visual information, being able to quickly pick out and act on specific visual data is, well, it's invaluable. It bridges that gap between this huge matrix of signals and the human operator. Makes managing video on a large scale feel more intuitive, more precise. It's all about enabling quick, informed decisions in those really fast-paced production environments, making sure that what the audience sees or what the security team observes is exactly what it's supposed to be, with the highest possible fidelity.
We've really unpacked quite a bit here about how the WolfPack Dual 7 color HDMI Rack Mount Displays with audio isn't just, another screen. It's a meticulously designed, almost mission-critical tool for modern video production, for surveillance. It brings clarity, it brings control to what can often feel like a chaotic storm of multi-source video, making the invisible visible and the unmanageable, well, manageable. It's fascinating how a piece of kit that might seem pretty simple on the outside is actually solving some incredibly complex problems behind the curtain.
It really is. And this brings up, I think, an important question for you, the listener, to ponder. In a world that relies more and more on visual information, on complex systems, how do dedicated, purpose-built displays like this one not only make things more efficient, but also maybe subtly shape the actual content we end up consuming? Think about those hidden layers of monitoring, of precision checking, that go into delivering the kind of seamless video experiences we basically expect now. Whether it's a perfectly framed instant replay in sports or a crystal clear news report, what other hidden eyes do you think are working constantly behind the scenes in the media you interact with every day? ensuring that what you see, what you hear, is exactly as intended, without you ever even knowing about the intricate systems making it all happen.